So when people think 90s Japanese cars, they picture tuners, drift missiles, or that one dude's Civic with the garden hose for a turbo. 10. Nissan Skyline R33 GT-R LM Limited. Alright, let's kick things off with a car that most people either forget existed or confuse for the regular R33. Meet the GT-R LM Limited, a 1996 special edition born out of one thing: homologation. Yep, Nissan built this car just so they could race the Skyline at Le Mans. But unlike the actual race car, which was rear-wheel drive, the street version stayed true to Godzilla roots, AWD and all. Only 188 units were ever made, all finished in a color called Champion Blue, with subtle aero tweaks, an N1 hood lip, and those deep-set 5-spoke wheels that still make car nerds swoon. Under the hood? Same RB26 DETT inline 6, but the whole thing was basically a refined R33 N1 model with extra cool points. 9. Toyota Supra SZR-JZ-A80. Now if someone says Supra, your brain probably defaults to one thing: the twin-turbo 2 JZ-GTE and DOM shifting into the moonlight at 140 miles per hour. But not every Supra from the 90s was built for drag racing or 10-second fantasy land. Enter the Toyota Supra SZR, the forgotten sibling with all the balance and none of the boost. This was the naturally aspirated version of the Mark IV Supra. No turbos, no wild horsepower, just a 2JZ-GE inline 6 that was still butter smooth and bulletproof. And here's the twist: it came with a 5-speed manual and weighed about 100 kilos less than the twin-turbo version. Lighter on its feet, better weight distribution, a totally different driving experience, and honestly, more driver's car than people give it credit for. 8. Honda NSX Type S0. This one's not just rare, it's surgical. Precision in carbon fiber and titanium. The Honda NSX Type S0 was the most hardcore version of the first-gen NSX, and Honda didn't just make it rare, they made it purposefully rare. Only 30 units ever built. That's not limited production, that's unicorn DNA. To understand why the S0 is special, you've got to get into the NSX mindset. It was already a car designed with input from Ayrton Senna, already built with aluminum chassis magic, already balanced like a tightrope walker. But the S0? That was Honda saying, "Cool, now let's make it uncomfortable." Gone were the power seats, audio system, sound insulation, heck, even the power steering was ditched. All in the name of shaving 110 pounds off the standard Type S. The end result? A car that drives like a track scalpel, not a Grand Tourer. And unlike the Ferrari 348 it was aimed at, the NSX actually started when you turned the key and didn't leak its soul on the garage floor. 7. Subaru Impreza 22B STI. Alright, now we're stepping into absolute legend territory. The Subaru Impreza 22B STI isn't just rare, it's mythical. The kind of car that sends grown men into bidding wars and makes rally fans weep with joy. Built to celebrate Subaru's 40th anniversary and their World Rally Championship dominance, the 22B wasn't just a road car. It was a celebration on wheels, with fists. Only 400 units were released in Japan, and they sold out in under 48 hours. Subaru also made a handful of extras for export. Think UK, Australia, but even adding those, you're still looking at a global total under 430 cars. That's collector-level scarcity. And the specs? Pure rally porn. Under the hood was a 2.2-litre turbocharged boxer engine, hand-assembled by Subaru Technica International. Officially, it was rated at 276 horsepower. But come on, everyone knows that was just Japan's gentleman's agreement number. The real power, way higher. Especially with the lightweight body, wide-body fenders, adjustable suspension, and that rally-spec aero setup. Driving one feels like wearing a wolf costume made of gravel and boost. The steering is razor-sharp, the turbo response slaps you in the chest, and the grip makes you feel like you could throw it sideways on the moon and still stick the landing. It was a homologation car, but it never pretended to be civilized. 22Bs don't just appreciate in value, they skyrocket. 6th Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 6. Tommy Markkanen Edition. If the Subaru 22B is the wild rally beast with gravel in its teeth, then this one. This is its equally feral rival with a Finnish passport and an eternal grudge. The Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 6, Tommy Markkanen Edition, or TME if you want to sound cool, isn't just a special Evo. It's the Evo. Named after four-time WRC champion Tommy Markkanen, this was Mitsubishi flexing hard in 2000. They didn't just slap his name on a badge and call it a day. They actually tuned this thing to drive like Markkanen's rally car. And the result? A 276 horsepower, turbocharged all-wheel drive missile that handles like it's angry at physics. It got a quicker spooling turbo for snappier throttle, a stiffer front bumper for improved aero, a lowered ride height, and those iconic NK wheels that looked ready to rip through a gravel stage. Inside, you got Recaro seats with red inserts, special gauges, and a Momo steering wheel that screamed, "Go faster," every time you touched it. Only 2,500 units were made, making it the rarest of the mainstream Evos. And even fewer came with the optional red and black factory paint job that basically made the car look like it was on fire even when parked. This wasn't just a nod to a rally legend, it was a signed love letter with tire marks on it. Driving it feels unhinged in the best way. Every gear shift is snappy, the turbo boost hits like a sledgehammer, and the handling is so precise it almost reads your mind. It's aggressive, light, responsive, and it does not apologize. This was Mitsubishi at full send, right before the Evo series started getting more grown-up and, well, slightly boring. The Tommy Markkanen Edition is peak Evo, and if you ask a hardcore JDM fan to rank all the Lancers ever made, chances are the TME sits on the throne, engine roaring, knuckles white, with a Finnish rally god riding shotgun. Number 5. Mazda RX-7, Type RZ FD3S. You know those cars that look like mad scientists built them for speed, with zero concern for future repairs? That's the Mazda RX-7 FD3S in a nutshell. And the Type RZ, that's the version where Mazda said, "Let's go full send." This wasn't a mass-market model, only about 1,500 units were made between 1992 and 2000. Mazda shaved off 44 pounds, threw in Bilstein suspension, BBS wheels, and twin oil coolers. It was leaner, sharper, and ready to brawl. Under the hood, it kept the insane 13 BREW twin-turbo rotary, revving to 8,000 RPM with all the reliability of a caffeinated raccoon. When it ran, it felt like piloting a jet turbine powered by anime and poor life choices. And we mean that in the best way. What made the RZ special wasn't just the speed, but the feel. It didn't drive, it danced. Telepathic steering, razor-edge chassis, perfect balance. It was a drift-happy, rear-wheel drive rocket forged in Hiroshima. Today, clean RZs are unicorns. Most got modded, wide-bodied, or slammed into uselessness. But a factory-spec RZ, that's rotary royalty, a love letter to chaos, precision, and pure driving joy. 4. Nissan Silvia Autech version K's MFT. Alright, this one's for the real JDM nerds. If S-chassis supremacy lives rent-free in your head, meet the Nissan Silvia Autech version K's MFT, the ultimate deep-cut legend you've probably never heard of. Let's break it down. Autech is Nissan's mysterious in-house tuner. Think AMG, but way more low-key. For the MFT, they took the S14 Silvia and created just 416 of these ultra-rare beasts. It packed a specially tuned SR20 DET with custom ECU mapping for smoother power delivery, plus exclusive aero, badging, suspension, and subtle interior upgrades. This wasn't a drift missile, it was a factory sleeper, purpose-built for true enthusiasts. No big ad campaigns, no flashy export runs. Just Japan-only stealth performance that flew under the radar, even for Silvia fans. Driving one? Feels like unlocking a secret level in a game you thought you'd 100%ed. It's refined, quick, and tuned to perfection, without losing the raw spirit of the S-chassis. These cars were so underappreciated, most owners didn't even know they had a unicorn until it was too late. Spot one now, untouched and original. That's not just rare, That's JDM street royalty hiding in plain sight. 3. Toyota Chaser Tourer Phi JZX100. Let's talk about the boss of the JDM underground, the Toyota Chaser Tourer Phi. On the surface, it looked like a buttoned-up business sedan. But underneath, it was pure back-alley brawler. The top-tier JZX100 Chaser, the Tourer 5, packed the iconic 1 JZ-GTE inline 6, essentially the two JZ's lighter, scrappier brother. It had a single turbo, made 280 horsepower, and delivered torque fast and hard. With a manual transmission and rear-wheel drive, this thing was born ready to drift, right out of the showroom. Handling, sharper than any mid-size sedan had a right to be. Thanks to a limited slip diff, tight chassis, and a tuning community that treats it like royalty, the Tourer Phi could go from sleeper to drift monster without breaking a sweat. What makes it rare? You had to import it yourself. And most of them trashed in Touge runs or turned into missile cars long before collectors caught on. Finding a clean stock one now is almost mythical. The JZX100 Chaser isn't just fast and tunable. It's got street cred, turbo boost, and just enough stealth to make your boss think it's a commuter, until you light up the rear tires on the way out of the office lot. Second Honda Integra Type R, JDM-only version. If you think front-wheel drive can't be exciting, that's only because you've never driven a JDM Honda Integra Type R. Not the cushy US version with sound insulation and AC, the real deal. The razor-sharp, high-revving DC2 Type R that Japan got in 1995 was a front-wheel drive samurai sword. This wasn't just a sporty coupe, it was a masterclass in precision. The B18C engine was hand-built, balanced and blueprinted. Redline, a screaming 8,400 RPM VTEC explosion. The JDM version was lighter, sharper and more hardcore. Thinner glass, less sound deadening, a tighter final drive, a helical LSD, and a close ratio 5-speed that felt like snapping a bolt-action rifle. Even the chassis was seam-welded for rigidity. Honda didn't just make a quick Integra, they engineered proof that FWD could be thrilling. What makes these rare today? Most were driven like Honda intended, hard. They weren't pampered, they were redlined daily and raced on weekends. Finding a clean one now is like unearthing a first-press punk record that survived 1,000 mosh pits. No turbos, no gimmicks, just pure, naturally aspirated perfection. And maybe, just maybe, the greatest handling FWD car ever built. AutoZam AZ1. Alright, let's wrap this up with something totally unhinged, in the best way. Meet the AutoZam AZ1, the mid-engine, gull-wing-doored K-car that looks like it leapt straight out of a 90s anime. Rare? Oh yeah, but also one of the most unapologetically fun cars Mazda ever greenlit, through its quirky sub-brand, AutoZam. Built with Suzuki, the AZ1 dropped in 1992, when Japan's car makers were doing whatever they wanted. The concept, a turbocharged rear-wheel drive, two-seater sports car with gull-wing doors that still qualified as a K-car. And somehow it actually made it to production. Under the hood, a tiny 657 cubic centimeter turbocharged 3-cylinder pushing out 63 horsepower. But this thing weighed less than 1,600 pounds. It was basically a street-legal go-kart with a J-pop playlist and Gundam styling. Mid-engine, rear-wheel drive and razor-sharp handling, all in a car you could parallel park in a broom closet. Mazda made just 4,392 units. No follow-ups, no reboots, just one glorious, ridiculous chapter in JDM history. And today? Clean examples go for stupid money. You could grab 2 Miatas for the price of one decent AZ1. But numbers aside, it's the vibe that makes it legendary. It's fun, it's weird, it's built to make people smile. The AZ1 proves Japan's 90s car culture wasn't just ahead of its time, it was on a different planet. So 10 legends. 10 machines built when Japan's car industry had gasoline in its veins and zero chill. From turbocharged drift lords to mid-engine anime dreams, these weren't just cars, they were statements. And they didn't just push limits, they ignored them. If you had to pick just one to daily, yeah, even the AZ1, What's your move? Let us know in the comments. And if you've ever been lucky enough to spot one of these in the wild, drop that story below, because these are the kinds of cars you remember forever. Hit that like if you're all about JDM deep cuts, and subscribe for more builds, breakdowns, and beautiful pieces of automotive madness. Catch you in the next one.